out of this Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye. And in Menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight into the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel, and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled, and I'm very much so appreciative. So thank you, man. I couldn't do it without you. Gracias. So over the week, man, the 4th of July weekend, a lot of shit happened. You know, a lot of things happened. And again, man, I was busy. I was sidetracked with family, doing the family thing. So I wasn't able to put out videos like I wanted to, give my opinion, my perspective, my 2 cents on situations that happened. Now, one of the situations that happened, I'm sure you already heard about, but here's my take on it, my perspective on it. What happened to Danny Trejo, right? Now, Danny Trejo is one of ours. Raza way, right? He's a man who comes from a very, very different type of childhood. You know, he was in the trenches, and he called his way out of the trenches, man. He went through drug addiction. He went through being incarcerated, you know, when shit was really cracking back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. I mean, he's been through it. No one could definitely test his ability to be a man. That's a real man right there. And found his way into Hollywood, right? And has been in a lot of major movies. So when I say he's one of ours, I mean, he's one of the very few Mexicanos who's actually got starring roles, who's been in big time productions, you know, all up in the movie theaters, Halloween, I mean, Machete, Dusk Till Dawn, American Me, whatever. I mean, not American Me, but excuse me, Blood In, Blood Out. He's been in several movies. But that doesn't define him as a man. What defines him as a man is the way he carries himself and the respect that he shows for everybody, man. I've never seen an interview or a video where this man doesn't humble himself and he's not just a cool guy. I've never had the chance to really interact with him or engage with him like that on that level. But everything I've ever heard about Danny Trejo, I respect. So he gets a lot of my respect. That's just a fact. That's right off the top. And I know he has his taco shops in the LA area. He's giving back to his community. You know, he's trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, but at the same time, this man is very respected inside prison and outside of prison, where he truly made his name. Because inside is what counts. The inside controls the outside. You already know that. And he's very respected. He's tapped in with some heavy hitters, man. And that's just what it is. So on 4th of July, for those of you that were under a rock that don't know, man, Danny Trejo was invited to a parade to be with one of his homeboys in his homeboy's lowrider and cruise through this parade. And he was asked by the city to go to this parade, you know. And of course, him being the type of individual he has, I'm sure he has family. He could have spent his 4th of July with his family. He could have did a lot of different things. He took his time, you know, and put forth his efforts and jumped in that lowrider and cruised in the city of Tujunga, down south in Southern California. While he was cruising with his homeboy, it was just them two in the lowrider. You know, there was a water balloon that was thrown at the car, and immediately from what Danny Trejo was saying, you know, the first water balloon was thrown. They kind of were like tripping, like, hey, a fucking water balloon hits the lowrider, explodes. Hey, what's going on? You know, people are just trolling or hating. There's always got to be some type of hatred. And again, man, Danny's not one of those type of people that disrespects anyone. So I was really surprised to see this type of shit happening. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for that city. It's a bad look for the people that engaged in this frivolous behavior with this guy, who's an OG, man, who's getting older in the years and just deserves his respect. Again, man, he's put the raza on the map in Hollywood, and he continues to carry himself with that type of professionalism and class, so he deserves more than what he got, right? So anyways, when this other water balloon was thrown, there was another one thrown. From what I seen on the video in the news, you know, because it made local news, it made national news, actually. But when this other water balloon was thrown, someone yelled out, "There's acid." Okay, and a lot of people, we didn't get to hear that on the news. Of course, they probably edited it out for content purposes or did whatever they did. But according to what Danny Trejo said, that someone said acid, so immediately he was alarmed. You know, I don't know about you, but I've seen plenty of videos where fucking disgruntled husbands go into the workplace and throw acid in their fucking old lady's face. And people do that, man. They'll fuck your whole face. Not that Danny acid is going to make much of a difference, right? He's a little weathered. He's an OG. But at the same time, You know, if you hear the word acid, it eats through your skin, it could kill you, you know? So he's alarmed. And I don't think he was alarmed for his safety. It was more so he thought someone was throwing acid at his homeboy's lowrider, trying to ruin the paint. I remember when we were kids, man, there was these two lowriders. They were clean. And my homeboy was from a lowrider club, and they were the rival club. And my homeboy cashed us out. We were little kids, real little. Before I went to Hawaii, we were like 8, 9 years old. He cashed us out some bread to go throw some paint stripper on these guys' cars. These guys had cherry ass, $20,000 paint jobs, glass. Their shit looked like glass. And these guys were parked on the side of the road. Instead of parking them in a garage or whatever, they left them on the side of the road. And we went and hit them with that paint stripper. The next day, their shit was all peeled. They were pissed, right? And we were just laughing. And the homeboy was like, good. He was trying to get him out the way. You know, even car clubs have rivalries and shit. Everybody trolls everybody. Everybody hates everybody. It's just what it is. So I remember that, and I was thinking when I first seen this, like he probably automatically assumed someone was trying to fuck up the paint job, throw acid on it, or whatever. So Danny chose to confront the individuals, the hecklers, people that were doing this. So he went to go engage with the crowd, right? And when Danny went towards the crowd surged forward. You could see, and you know, what people don't know about Danny Thro used to be a boxer. Danny Trejo's a bad man. He's a bad boy, right? He ain't someone you want to throw hands with, don't matter what his age is. That's kind of like Mike Tyson. You know, once these guys know how to fight, they've learned, they've honed them skills. It's like riding a bike. You know, you get them in the ring. These guys' power is phenomenal. You know, I've told you guys stories about this old man, Chet, who these youngsters were fucking with, and he knocked them all out, man. He wasn't playing. These old guys are not to be slept on. They're very strong. You know, their bones are, like I say, weathered. So when he went to engage with the crowd and lock up with who did that, you know, they were pushed back. And Danny took a swing. This is out of Danny's mouth. Ain't no dry stitching or nothing. Danny took a swing. You could see it on camera. And, you know, they were having a war of words, and Danny felt a certain type of way, right? So the machete came out in him. And he took a swing. When he took a swing and someone threw a kick to his leg, you can see him throw the kick. Danny went to back up and he tripped and someone pushed him over the curb, right? Now this is a viejito. This is an older man. And, you know, instead of people automatically went to go pick him up. But the crowd kept pushing forward. So, you know, when the video first came out, there was a lot of people that were making fun of Danny. They were like, oh, Danny got put on his pockets. He got dropped. No, Danny merely tripped when he was going backwards. He stumbled, right? That's exactly what happened. He didn't take a hit. Danny's the one that swung. This dude fucking pushed him, and a kick was thrown and Danny lands on the ground. No harm, no foul. It shit is what it is, right? I'm surprised more people didn't get off in defense of Danny. Just him being who he is, the people knowing him and respecting him, you would think that a lot of the raza would have came to his defense, because there's a little bit more to it, according to Danny. So anyways, you see his homeboy, righteous homeboy, man, win, lose, or draw. He came and ran up. He's an older gentleman too, but he came running up to help Danny, and he engages and locks in with this one guy, and the guy fucking catches him. He catches him smooth, right? Drops him. Did I think any type of way about it? No. You don't win all the fights, man. Sometimes your adrenaline's pumping. You go in for the kill and they end that shit quick, right? So now it looks bad because you have Danny on the ground trying to get back up, you know, an older guy, and then you have his homeboy who gets dropped, righteously gets dropped, right? And that was it, man. You know, it got broken up or whatever. Danny was pissed. Allegedly, he threw a chair at the situation. And so Danny later on goes, you know, on camera to do an interview. And in the comfort of his home, he tells the same story, but at the same time, what we didn't know or we didn't get to hear was this actually was some racial stuff going on. There was some racial stuff going on. So when I first looked at the camera, I thought it was Chicanos or Mexicanos that were the ones disrespecting Danny and throwing water balloons. But according to Danny, it was skinheads, you know, that were, you know, getting off on him for whatever reason. You know, and that's unfortunate, man. You would think a parade, 4th of July, Southern California, there's a lot of everybody there. A lot of whites, a lot of brown, a lot of black. Everyone just going to enjoy, you know, the nation's birthday. You're going to enjoy Independence Day. But shit like this has to pop off, right? So the moral to the story is this. I went through some of this type of same situation, a similar situation, not like that. But I just told a video, I did a video on it, I believe on my other channel, where I talked about, running into an Edgar and having to check him, and then running into a Wood, right, that was trying to antagonize and start some conflict because he was in close proximity to me. He was too close to me, right, my family. And instead of engaging with him and locking in and doing my thing, which I wanted to do, don't get it twisted, I wanted to sock him in his mouth. But instead of doing that, I thought about my children, my primas, my primos, and everybody, in the good time that everyone, not just my family, but everyone around us was having. And I didn't want to be the catalyst to the problem. Even though I wasn't the one starting the issue, I didn't want to contribute and be part of the problem, right? So I had to grit my teeth like a real one, man, and step on back and reanalyze the situation and realize that my freedom, my family, and my look meant more to me than what this guy was trying to do. Because at the end of the day, man, trying to be tough and play the cool role and be hard only gets you so far. It doesn't count. All they're going to say is you fucking started some bullshit and ruined everybody's holiday. They're not going to say, hey, the guy was fucking with you or talking shit or whispering shit under his breath, and then you socked them. All they're going to see is the guy who fucking swung first. That's it. With Danny, it's unfortunate that he can't even, be in a parade or help. And again, like I said, he didn't have to be there. The city asked him. And I'm sure they appreciated the fact, but immediately people started pointing at Danny. Oh, he caused a situation. He jumped out his whip. Yeah, but people didn't see why it escalated that fast, what happened. And, I don't like to turn things into a racial situation at all. I get along with Woods. I get along with blacks, man. I'm all about unity for everybody. But I'm all about my people too, first and foremost, just like anyone would be. And I implore that to people. Be about your gente. Be about yours first and foremost, because ain't no one going to do it for you guys but yourselves, right? And I know if I would have been there and I'd seen Danny I'd have ran up with Danny. Danny wouldn't have been on the ground. I'd have been right behind him or right on the side of him, pulling him up. We'd engage. We'd have really locked in, right? And I don't know Danny like that. I don't know him from a bowl of cold soup that don't taste good. But I know enough to know, man, that he's brown, that he needed support, and I didn't see too much people besides his homeboys with him. Again, I wasn't there. I only see what they showed on the video. I'm sure there's people that got other footage from different angles. But this is out of Danny's own mouth that it was skinheads. It was a racial issue. And I don't think he was trying to blame the situation on whites, per se. He was just telling it the way it was, man. And it's fucked up because if you think about who Danny Trejo is, this guy is a lover of humankind, a lover of mankind, man. He's showed respect to everyone. He does these movies knowing that everyone's going to watch it. And he's just a type of citizen that you would like to be. You would like to role model, him to be a role model and model yourself after him. Someone who came from the trenches, who had nothing, who had a tumultuous childhood, that built themselves up from the ground to what they are now, to owning things, to giving back to the community, to conversating and giving you game and clecha. These are the type of OGs we need. And I didn't see too much backup for Danny besides his homeboy that did get put on his pockets. It's unfortunate, but it happens, man. Win, lose, or draw, his homeboy was there, solid. And you can't take that away from him. But if these guys were there doing this, why were they trying to provoke the situation? What were they intending to get out of it? It was just pure and simple hatred. Hatred for his brown skin, hatred for who the man is. And people hate on you if you're getting any type of shine. And it's not like anyone ever gave Danny anything. This man wasn't given opportunity. He went out and fought hard for his opportunity. We're talking about a person, man, that came from a childhood, man, that, didn't have anything. And yeah, he made some wrong choices. He had some substance abuse problems. Who hasn't had a problem? Who hasn't been a part of something they don't want to be a part of, man, but can't just say no? I think we all go through the bullshit, right? But when you see someone change their life, we need to celebrate that. Just like they're celebrating the nation that's falling apart around us, why can't we celebrate someone who is truly what an American is supposed to be? See, Danny Trejo was a Tejano, a Mexican American, okay? Originally from Texas, moved to Southern California and grew up in Southern California, right? He's got roots in the Mexican American community. He's never denied his roots, his people. And these are the people that are the American dream. People that come into this country or people that are here that make something out of themselves. I know when people look at Danny, they see an old gangster or a cholo. And no, he's just someone that's celebrating his cultura, his upbringing, his people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But to see dudes try to engage with him and cause basically a melee. They were, over racial hatred or prejudices. That just ain't a good thing. So my take is Danny did what he was supposed to do. Could he shined it on like I did? Absolutely. But at the same time, sometimes, man, you tempers flare, you lose your temper. And I don't know what that man was thinking at that point in time. Am I saying he was right or wrong? I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying Danny did what he did. And like I said, them OGs, them old school dudes, man, they're very confrontational. Get into it with an old man and he ain't going to back down. They're not going to back down whatsoever. They come from an era where motherfuckers was getting killed left and right. They've lost a lot of homeboys. They've taken a lot of people off this earth. So these guys are not the ones to fool with, man. People are constantly, and it sucks in this era that we live in, that people, instead of protecting our older generation, our older people, they're making fun of them or hitting them. That's like what it is like with the paletero man, the elote man. People were just hitting them and robbing them. And where was the protection at? Where was the love for them? Rather than people making fun of them. And these are guys that work hot in the sun all day long, 100-degree weather. They're out there trying to feed their families and take care of their people. And people constantly treat them like shit. It's time for us to stand up. Again, Danny, it's not like he's broke. He has his money. And again, it's like he didn't have to do this shit. He didn't have to go to this parade. He chose to do it for the gente, for the city, for the people. Giving back like he always does, right? He wasn't paid to show up. This was all on his own, in his own time. And this is the type of shit that happens. It's just a blessing that, Danny didn't get hurt worse. It's a blessing that his homeboy just got a black eye and looks like Willie Lump Lump for a while, but he'll be back. And it's a blessing that, no one else got hurt. There was kids, and people blame Danny. Well, if Danny would have never jumped off the car, then, these kids would have never had to see that, or people would have never had to see that. People wouldn't have been scared. But at the same time, what about these guys that started this shit? See, it always starts from somewhere, but usually it's about the person that ends it, not the person that started that we're talking about. I think we're more so having the conversation about Danny Trejo because he's famous. He's known, but immediately, and it trips me out, immediately it was on every news station. Immediately they were dropping videos on it. Oh, local actor Danny Trejo does this, Danny Trejo does that. But when someone gets killed in the barrios, a Mexican, it never even makes a newspaper. We don't even see the shit. When a Mexican's given the Cesar Chavez Award, it makes a little fucking article this big way in the back in some fucking Mexican newspaper. It's never, first page news, front page news, unless it's something negative. If you really look at it from the outside looking in, the negative thing was the guys provoking it and antagonizing him all because he was brown. And that's just the way it is. Again, shout out to the Woods, man. I got nothing but love for the skinheads of the Woods. Oi, brothers. I've done time with some. I respect them. Their get down is vicious. This is no reflection of all their thinking and no reflection of every white man. And I'm not saying go out there and throw a water balloon with acid at a white man. Absolutely not. I'm saying, luckily it wasn't. Luckily it was just someone saying that because there was a chlorine smell, according to what Danny said. And I would have tripped out too. Like, fuck that. What's going on here? Again, Danny said, and look, I have a stepfather, man. I'm going to be real with you. He's very old, right? He ain't scared of shit. This old man, I've got so much love for my stepfather. He ain't scared of not a fucking damn thing. It could be a fucking whole moat full of alligators. He'll step right on their heads. When these OG Mexican dudes get so old, they're not scared of nada. There ain't nothing they haven't seen or done or participated in. You can't tell them nothing. Danny Thro reminds me of him, absolutely. Just not scared of nothing. I've already been there and done that. The fuck are they they're old already. They're getting close. What the fuck are they gonna be scared of? That's how my stepfather reminds me of someone like that. And I respect him for that. And I hope I can only have enough heart to walk in his shoes one of these days. Would I handle my situation like Danny? I don't know. Quite possibly. But again, man, he's an older gentleman that just don't give a fuck. I got kids and I got to worry about my kids there and things like that. Anyways, with that being said, that's my 2 cents on Danny Trejo, man. Respects. Shout out to Danny. I think he conducted himself proper. I think all this could have been avoided, man, if the security that was there monitored people a little bit more. But again, man, you can't blame everyone for a couple knuckleheads. It just is what it is, man. But it just seems to me the real story is how the media picked up on it and were quick to point the finger at what Danny did, man, rather than what, got him to engage. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming, and remember at the end of the day, it's all about the strive, the struggle, to strive. And that is why I strive for the raza, people like Danny that are holding it down for themselves and for the people showing pride and canalismo. Raza way. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to do what I does, and that's provide the best entertainment on this channel, as well as the collective clips. If you ain't tapped in, make sure you tap in. I'll be dropping a Super Norteño over there in a little while. You know what it is. I'm back up. The gun.